today's episode, we're kind of like gonna blend market trends and main topics together because one thing that we have noticed recently, since I know this is especially because I'm actually in the active buying of modern, modern kind of has taken a pretty, I wouldn't say significant, but it's dipping right now. I can buy a lot of the modern cards I've been kind of holding off buying for far cheaper than it was before. Probably, I'd say like 15 to 20% cheaper, already graded. A lot of factors in that. Probably the biggest factor is production. Pokemon is pretty much printing modern to the moon. Zach kind of we touched on this when Zach was here a little bit. So, you want to talk about the printers running overtime at the Pokemon Company these days?
Yeah, I mean, Pokemon's come out and said they're printing way more products than they had before. They're going through their holiday cycle. I think once you start seeing Pokemon on shelves, again, I think it's going to really blow people away. I mean, and so, like, remember it was a couple years ago, you've seen the EPCs at 90. Target and all these other companies are, not like tied to the whole, like, oh, EPCs are $300. They're tied to their, like, hey, MSRP's here for Black Friday. We want to be at such a discount, and we want to drive traffic in the store. They're not just going to lessen the discount just because the demand is so high. They're going to keep the same discounts they have years before. So, and there's so much more product available that, like, I just at some point demand's got to slow down. I don't know how bad the economy's going to get for that to happen. The economy is not in great shape right now, and demand is out of this world. So who knows? Push's going to come to shove eventually. It can't let's stay like this forever.
So just kind of rehash, like touching base on like the increased print production. It has like anytime you like increase production, that it has actually has had a kind of like not dramatic, but there has been an effect on quality control with the packaging. So you see a lot of issues with like the cellophane wraps. I've seen Mega Charizard Ultimate Collection from Phantasmal Flames. Like people, like the shrink wrap is literally just like terribly done to a point where it actually appears like it's a rewrap. Like it's been rewrapped. And I've also seen pictures and as well as videos online. Literally, people coming out of Target, check like they're still in the checkout lane, opening the booster sleeve, and the actual booster pack inside is not the correct one. It's like from a different set. So they're kind of running through some issues of quality control right now, with the increased production. Um, just touching on the note of quality control, Nintendo doesn't really care. Nintendo doesn't care. If you get something like the box has been completely mangled, it literally could have a hole in it. Nintendo doesn't care. You will not get a refund. They're basically their response is the box's job of protecting the product on the inside. So that's it. You're good because they don't view it as catering to collectors, resellers. They're catering to the people who are just in the market of opening and ripping packs. I just want to talk about really quickly. So Zach talked about like how not too long ago, man. You like on eBay, you had people selling booster boxes for far below MSRP, undercutting majorly LCSs to a point I was like really worried about LCSs to a point where I thought they were like, if this continues, like all the LCSs are gonna go out of business. Around the time I've been catching up on like a lot of like uh, market trends on modern. Around the time of the release of Brilliant Stars, that kind of like flipped, where now you can no longer find a booster box at cost. You have LCSs really inflating it, distributors inflating the prices, all that kind of stuff. So, like beginning of Sword and Shield was really tough for modern, up until the release of Evolving Skies. Probably the biggest card being obviously the modern day Moonbryon. So what made Pokemon relevant again in the latter half of Sword and Shield, in your opinion, Zach? What was it like? The Evolving Skies was like the Umbreon emergency button. You press it, we're gonna make all the profit now. What did Pokemon do to kind of make modern relevant once again?
I mean, it's a really loaded question. I think the art was incredible. I think tag team, just the art was just by far really good. And then I think as time went on, like the art kept getting better and better and better. I think if Pokemon still had black and white art, I think it'd just be dead in the water. I think getting, if you look at Pokemon's IP, it's like 160, 170 billion dollars. Well, 103 or so million of that's like merchandise. 12 of that is trading cards. So trading cards is like less than 10% of the overall like IP like value of Pokemon. And so it's like trading cards don't necessarily move the needle here, there, wherever. But I think Pokemon, what I'm trying to get to is Pokemon largely becoming like way more popular through like either just the merchandise sales, the movie sales, the anime, Ash, beating the Elite Four finally. Just cycling through, I thought was huge. Obviously, with crypto, you kind of have the 4-year cycles, this and that. And a lot of times when crypto's up, that money tends to transition to Pokemon. But I do think like the art is probably really, really big. I think the historical growth of Pokemon's been really good. I think the lack of like growth and vintage has been kind of like we have not seen anything there. But the fact that like modern has continued to skyrocket and just go up, I thought has been really, really strong. And so people are always looking for that next Moonbrand. People are still looking for Burning Shadows or something like that. People are looking for that next Grail. And so everyone's speculating, so similar like NBA, like everyone speculates on rookies. Well, it's like, you have 32 teams, they all play each other. There's only 16 winners every time they play. With Pokemon, everyone can win. That's kind of the beauty of it. It's like you can have the Umbreon, the Dragonite, the Charizard. It's like there's really no second place. It's like there's never really like a record per se. And so that's why I think a lot of people love like that factor of it. But how far this goes up, it just I don't know. I mean, Van Goghs are down, 30, 40%. The Moonbreon is down, not like crazy amount, but like the Black Libs are still up. But there's a lot of just big grails that are just trending down. And those buyers are not at the shows. They're not in person. They're not at your local card shop. All those buyers are online and they're international. The people who are still supporting those markets. And so really when they decide to pump the brakes, they decide to stop buying. I think that's when you see the imminent collapse of the market as we know it today.
I love the fact that you brought up the Burning Shadows Charizard because that is a perfect example piece that I kind of want to touch on really quickly. So when we when Burning Shadows came out, it was $1,000 card, and we were like, "This isn't $1,000 card. It's not." It. I was like, we were based on our experience of like pop reports. I can't remember. I think that card's like 700 pop now or something, 750. And to us, in terms of like our vintage mindset, that's way too much for $1,000. That's way too much. And I checked market price on that card now; it's about 4,000, which I think that's just more natural growth. Not it never received like any exponential bump that
Mhm.
you would kind of see if you were like you if you want exponential growth, you got to deal with vintage. Like vintage prices right now are just out of control. They're like crazy, 5 times what they were like a year ago. So there's like this. This is with modern because so much print, so much copies out there, so many tens. You have cards in like $4,000 to $40,000 PSA 10 copies. You're not gonna get that exponential growth with modern. So there's kind of like a ceiling. You still will get that natural growth over time, but with modern as well, you also run into a lot of inherent risks. So example of this more recently, Destin Rivals. You have the 229 SIR Rockets Charizard. That was one of the major hits in that set. Destin Rivals released May 30th this year, 2025. More recently, the time of the card show, they have released the Moltres Team Rocket box. Inside, exact same card. This time it has Destin's Rivals stamp. You and me both know, hobby people in this hobby, we love our stamps. We love our stamps. So obviously, set just came out. People, there'll be a first to market bump on that card, but like that's kind of like just caution. I could see the 229 with the existence of the stamp version just completely bottoming out, just because now that's no longer the best version of that card. The best version of that card is now the stamp version. So that's kind of like examples of like with modern, with cards still in print, with promos still coming out. If you were like heavily invested in the 229 Moltres Charizard or Moltres Team Rocket card, You don't like that news. You don't like that news at all. Um, Another example, I tried to find research on this the simplified Chinese exclusive cards that came out this past year. Crazy prices, ranging like the Mew for that card, ridiculous amount of money. But like, there's no guarantees that that card is not going to be that artwork is not going to be reprinted in English at some point. It's exclusive now. It doesn't mean it's going to be exclusive next year or the year after. So like, if you're buying modern and you're buying like these exclusive promos, go in knowing, or these hits, going going in know that things could possibly change because that set is still in print. So kind of, I'm very bearish on the Chinese exclusive cards because I could very well easily see them being reprinted in English at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of extra Chinese cases I've been trying to sell for like quite a while, and it's really hard to find demand for them. I mean, I constantly see them available for sale here and there, but like I've been like, "Hey, I'll undercut that guy. Do you want 20 cases?" And like everyone says no. And so it's like I can't sell these things no matter what. And they're their first wave, first release Chinese volume one cases. And I'm like, they're unsearched, this and that. We got them for a good price, but at the same time, I'm just like, I don't want to rip them, and I don't know. It's kind of interesting. So when I saw your notes about being bearish in Chinese, I'm like, I haven't really thought about it, but I guess I'm kind of bearish too. If you were to ask me my opinion, so it's I think that was kind of funny. I love the exclusive arts for the Chinese. I love that like those arts are only available there. And at the same time, like you made the comment earlier about like, things getting reprinted and like that Japanese Meowth promo that came out that was so cool. The second it gets reprinted in English, goes from being like $100 $200 card to like way down, tanked. And that card when it came out, it'd been out for 6 9 months before it got printed in English. And so that was a card I actually want to be long on just because it was exclusive. So I think of Pokemon, you never say never. It's like all this exclusive Chinese stuff. I could totally see be reprinted into Japanese as long as Pokemon, the IP holders in Japan control and take all the shots. Um, I mean, you got to remember they print like 30 extra trophy cards every year for themselves. They're gonna do whatever they want.
Uh,
So,
yeah, and yeah, modern. Yeah, buy just don't go crazy on modern. Buy what you like, but just don't invest heavily because the market can possibly change because things are still in print run.